What's going on, everyone? I hope you are well and you're having an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Today, I want to ask you a very serious question. Have you lost control of your life? Have you lost control of your life? And a lot of you are going to say, Alex, absolutely not. I have control of my life. I live every day. I experience things every day, and no, absolutely not. So let me paint a scenario for you. With everything that's currently going on at the moment, where prices are going through the roof, we're being dictated what we can and cannot do. We're being dictated what things should cost and they shouldn't cost. Families are struggling and suffering. There are some who don't, but the cost of living has gone through the roof, and a lot of people are struggling. They are really, really struggling. And if you're struggling, does that mean you have control? If you're struggling, does that mean you still have control? And what I've seen and what I continue to see is this unfairness, this unjust system, which is completely broken. We see it all the time. We see it on TV. We see everything that's going on around the world with all of these prices and all these excuses and all of these stories. That's what they are. They are stories that are created. And I have learned through time to kind of understand and believe that I can control what I can, but what I cannot control, I must accept. So control what you can, what you cannot control, accept. So there are certain things in my life that I can control. Who I am every day, how I behave, how I conduct myself, what I do in my life, how I live my life, how I create. Why? Because I learned that I am a creator. I am a creator in this experience, in this human experience. But what has also happened around the world, and I've been guilty of this, is we've thrown ourselves into a system, and into a system that tells us how we should behave, how we should conduct ourselves, what we should or shouldn't do, that we need to go to school, then we need to go to uni, then we need to do this, and we need to do that, and then we need to get a job, a 9 to 5, and then we go and have a family, and we have a house, and we're continuously building these debts, and we are working in jobs that often we hate to satisfy other people. So we're working, we are living, we're experiencing life for other people's benefits. I want that to sink in. We are living, we are working, and a lot of us work until we are 65, now we're 70, 75, and the average age is what, 70, 75? So you're pretty much working until your last breath, to some people. For what? What are you experiencing? What are you gaining out of this? And I really want you to sit with that. Ask yourself that question. What am I doing? What am I actually doing with my life that is benefiting me and my family and my learning, my growing, my development? Because, and I'm going to throw another question here. Do you even know who you are? Do you even know why you are here? Why you've been born into this life, into this experience? Were you born into this life, into this experience to be a slave of a system that benefits other people? Ask yourself truthfully that question. And that question came up yesterday, and I answered the question. Somebody posted it on a social network, and I answered the question, and they said, well, how do we get out of it? Because we were talking about how unjust this system is and how things are broken, and we are being ripped off. Our systems are collapsing, but they're collapsing so we can be rebuilt for us to be controlled. Again, for us to be controlled further into benefiting other people. So my question earlier, have you lost control? Have you lost control? Ask yourself truthfully that question. If you can truthfully answer that question, and I know that I have. I had lost control because I was giving myself to this system. I gave myself everything, and don't get me wrong, I'm not rogue, but I have learned what the system is. I have learned how it's benefiting other people and it's not benefiting me at all. I will get thrown under the bus in the first instance, like everybody else. And it doesn't matter where you work, who you work for, whether you're the police, whether you're the media, whether you work for hospitals, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, it does not matter. It doesn't matter where you are in this hierarchy, you will get thrown under the bus for these people to benefit for themselves. And this is something that's very, very serious, because the way things are moving at the moment, we as individuals and as a collective need to make a decision in order for these things to stop. Because if they do not stop, not only do we suffer, so do our children. And we talk about, and I've heard this so many times, that we need to protect our children. We need to protect against the things that are being taught in schools, the things that they are now going to start teaching children as young as 3. Things that young children should never, ever be exposed to. Do we have control of our lives, or have we lost control? Ask yourself that question truly. Because when you do, you will start to realize that things are not what you think they are. Things are not as rosy. Things are bad? Yes, they are. But can things change? Absolutely. And how do we do it? We have to do things as a collective. First and foremost, we need to realize who we truly are. Who you truly are. When you start to understand who you truly are as a creator, you are not here to be a slave to a system where you work until you're 60, you're 70, and then if you are lucky, you may have 5 to 10 years, maybe a little bit longer, to then live your life freely. What does that sound like to you? You're bought into a system from the day that you were born, and you only get your freedom that you can do what you like, if you're lucky, for yourself. And that's towards the end of your life. So the system that has been in place for all these years, that keeps you enslaved into a system, paying all these taxes and all this stuff that goes nowhere to help us for our evolution, for our children's evolution, for their school system, for our health system, for everything that supposedly is to be here to help us. Instead, it's damaging every single one of us. And we continue to pay into a system that is damaging us. How does that sound? How does that sound when you really think about it? We are working in a system, into a matrix that does nothing for us. Nothing for us. Oh yes, of course you can buy a house and you can have all these wonderful things. You can consume, you can go on the internet and you can have selfies, you can go on a holiday, but based on what? You're being told what you can and cannot do. A little while back, you couldn't even go on holiday if you were bought into what was going on. You couldn't even leave your house. You couldn't even see your family. Now, people may debate because there were certain reasons behind it, but even now, when the things that have come out since on national, international television have shocked people to the core. Why? Because once again, we were fooled, we were lied to into buying into a system that continuously lies to us. And then when we start to realize what's going on, they go back, they say a quick story. Oh yeah, apologies. Oh yeah, no, this has happened. Oh, naughty, naughty. Let's slap your hand. And then they go back into doing exactly the same thing in a different way to still keep you slave, to still keep you tight into the system. So what are you going to do about it? When are things going to change? When is it going to be enough where you have the courage and the strength to look at yourself truthfully and understand that you were ripped off, that you've been lied to this whole time? And that's going to hurt a lot of people. That's going to hurt a lot of people, and it's happening now. But here's the solution: you can change. Because once you start to realize who you truly are, that you are a creator. Everything that you do, you are creating. You created beautiful lives. You've created children. That's the most powerful thing that we can do. We bring life to this world. That's just one thing that we can do. And then you can create everything that you desire. You can even create this system again. This system doesn't belong to them. This is our system. So we can change that. This is where we've been fooled. We've been fooled into believing that they have the power when actually it's us, because we're the ones doing it in the first place. So where is that power? If you've lost control, how do you regain it? And you regain it by knowing who you are and by stopping buying into a system. But people say, oh, but the system is going to crash. Let it crash. Let it crash and let it burn. Because once that old system is gone, you can rebuild. People seem to think that if this system crashes, oh, life's going to end. Nothing's going to end. Because when something ends, what happens? Something new begins. And that happens every single day in our lives. When you go to sleep, your experience ends. And then when you wake up in the morning, if you're lucky, what happens? A new experience begins. Once you understand that, once you understand the power that you have and who you truly are, you will never, ever, ever buy into this system again. You will never be a slave to other people, a small percentage of people that tell us what we can and cannot do. When we are free, we are filled with love and energy and creativity and gifts. If you think that you are here just to survive, just to live another day, you are so wrong. You are so wrong. You are here for so much more. But you've allowed a system, you freely, and this is the thing, nobody's made you, you freely allowed yourself to go into a system and to believe that you are who you truly are. And that's a lie. It's a lie. You've been lied to. Start to learn who you truly are. And I'm going to start sharing about these things of who you truly are, what you can do, and how as individually and as a collective, we can change this. Allow the system to crash and burn. Let's build something beautiful. Have an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And as always, be great, be fantastic, and be absolutely phenomenal today, because it is everything that you are. I say it every single time because it is true. And trust me, when you realize how true it is, you will know. You will know. I'll speak to you again very soon. Take care.